Okay, right now we're looking at four cells going on in southwest Oklahoma. We have one of these are this one's the newest one coming up on Cache in southwest Oklahoma near Electra. That's a cell, and these two are the oldest ones in southern Oklahoma. To the north, we have the first cells that took off. We have three up here. We have one near Brahman that's producing some very big hail now. I believe that is tennis ball, maybe bigger. It says half dollar, but I think it's a bit bigger in there. We had baseballs out here in Hunter, Oklahoma, just a little while ago. And what I'm concerned about is not only these cells, but the cells to the southwest, where I do think we could see those cells come closer to the Oklahoma City metro area. But I'll give an eye on them. Right now, there's no tornado warnings, but the first tornado warning might be from this one. There is some rotation in it. It's gonna be kind of back here. I don't know if there's a possible tag with it or not, though. I don't think there is. Yeah, there's not yet, but still baseball size hail coming out of this. Right now, the largest hail is gonna be just northwest of Tonkawa, west northwest of that. Okay, so all right. Right now, make sure this is 100% working, but right now we have two cells to the north that are still strengthening, and we have some concerns down here to the south, where we do have a pretty group of supercells going. This one is I don't think it's really supercell yet, but it's still growing right now to the northeast. But right now, we just still have these two going. Now this cell right here over Walters, Oklahoma, right now what it has, it looks more like a left split. But we're still gonna be keeping a very close eye on those. Yeah, right now, keeping a very close on these. We haven't had any tornado activity yet, but we are in an environment to see that happen. I'm gonna go into velocity here real quick. It's definitely could be some mesocyclones starting to develop in the two stronger cells. Mostly here over Randlet, maybe one here near Walters. All right. Hello. Okay. There we go. That should be better. Is that better, Fade? Anyways, two severe thunderstorm or three severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now. I think that's technically four, but right now we have a small. We have a. Okay, I don't know what happened there. We have an area up here that needs to be watched. This is going to go into southern Kansas right now. Arkansas City, Winfield, Tisdale, Oxford needs to watch this smaller cell right here, and it does look like there might be a new cell trying to go up there near Caldwell. Okay. Well, I knew you were Kate. I just didn't want to say your real name. Anyways, let's go down to the south. Right now, let's do a quick track here. It does appear that this cell right here is trying to go to the northeast, likely towards Chickasha, Blanchard, Norman, and Noble. If that cell can take off and sustain itself, then I do think it could get pretty close to Blanchard, Norman, Noble, Slaughterville. These cells further to the south, these are heading to a little more to the northeast. I think these will stay south of Norman. The only one that I think will get close enough to Norman would probably be this one currently over Walters. I'm not seeing much of any rotation in there. There might be some mesocyclones starting to develop there near Randlet. I don't know why I don't have my radar omega going. I probably should get that going for sure. But right now we have so far 3 different cells and 1 tower still trying to go up. Right now, half dollar size hail in these cells. I'm trying to determine what's going on right now. Right now, on I-44 for this cell near Randlet, the largest hail will be between County Road North 2520 and which is this one? Probably neighborhood actually, but and Road North 2570. Keeping a close eye on these cells here in southern Oklahoma, because if they do try to limp further to the north, if any of these cells do try to take off to the north, they are going to have to watch closely for the Oklahoma City Metro. There is another small tower trying to go up there now, Calumet, Oklahoma. But right now, the primary concern are the strongest cells. This one has a bit of a hook on it and has been rotating for some time. Does have a mesocyclone on it. Okay, there we go. The rotation is going to be back up in here, getting pretty close to Tonkawa. It's a little difficult to see there, though. But right now, as these storms continue off to the north, here in northern Oklahoma, they'll go into Kansas, where these specific storms should remain isolated, but there does continue to have that potential for a strong tornado or two up here in Kansas. And I think this will be the start of the cluster and squall line that'll produce mostly damaging winds, maybe maybe an isolated tornado or two, and some damaging winds. But right now, the strongest tornado threat in Kansas will be out in this general area where these supercells are currently at. And that does include far northern Oklahoma. Traveling south, there is a cell coming up towards Lawton. It's still it's starting to weaken down just a bit, but if it can get its act back together, that's still going to be a concern for maybe the southern or southeastern Oklahoma City metro area. It's focused down further to the south here, where we have this cell. Looks like it might be slightly weakening just a tad east of Geronimo, Oklahoma. Still looking for any areas of spin in here. Might be a small area of spin or two in here. Watching for those mesocyclones to take off. Right now, still keeping an eye on for towers that can go up and produce some a concerning area. And looks like another tower. I'm looking at Radar Omega here on my phone, but there's another tower there near Archer City that looks like it's trying to break through the cap. Right now, that's going to the northeast. So here, northeast. If that can go up, it should be going this general direction. But that's the 5th tower I've seen so far today. Right now, this is the main area of concern, I think, for the southern Oklahoma City metro. But if any of these cells can take a turn to the north while keeping themselves anchored to the low level moisture and instability and can keep itself alive, I do think these cells could be a direct threat to the south, maybe southeast Oklahoma City metro, or even the entire OKC metro as a whole. Right now, again, this cell right here over near Watton, west of Watson, is currently weakening, but again, it can take off if it can break through the cap completely. And we still have a small little tower right here near Calumet that needs to be watched. And let's go up here to northern Oklahoma where we have still these cells here near Arkansas City. Looks like that cell might actually be weakening here. But quarter size hail, 60 mile per hour winds, and to the south. Still baseball size hail. That might have come down a little bit in the last maybe 10 minutes, maybe longer than that. Let's go ahead and go into velocity here. There's definitely some rotation out here near Tonkawa. That needs to be watched very, very closely. And I can't pull up storm chasers on my phone. I'm not going to tell who or whatnot, but I can't show anything on here due to copyright reasons. Hello, Mac and Percy McKenzie. But anyways, Tonkawa right here. That is going to be a mesocyclone. Trying to strengthen a little bit. It's looking a little on the wonky side, though. Doesn't actually add up all that well. It's really closer. Okay, that's a horrible one. Let's go ahead and pull up. Let's pull up Echo Tops here real quick to see what's going on exactly. We're seeing around 50,000 feet up right now. And that, I do believe that has been going upwards. Yeah, that's been going up a bit of an upwards trend. And going back down to the southern Oklahoma here. Alright, this cell close to Lawton has weakened a little bit. Still needs to be watched fairly closely, though. This track brings this supercell a bit closer to Moore, Norman, Goldsby, and Noble, but I do think this should stay on more of the eastern path. But regardless, it's still going to have to be watched very closely. Alright, currently looking around on Radar Omega for any other small towers to go up. Looks like there might be one all the way out near Abilene. What? Yeah, it looks like there's like a small tower trying to go up there near Abilene, Texas. There's a strong cap down here, but if this cell can take off, that will get dangerously closer to the Fort Worth, Dallas area. Dallas, Fort Worth. If that can break through the cap. There's been like 4 different areas where these storms have tried to break through the cap down here in southwestern Oklahoma and North Texas. Alright, anyways, Well, maybe this one will get closer to the Oklahoma City Metro, but still gonna keep a very close eye on it in case it does get that close. But right now, the biggest, baddest storm in any state is currently this one. Near Tonkawa, going into velocity here. There still is a mesocyclone back up in here. It needs to be watched very closely. Still keeping a very close eye on this near Tonkawa. Because if that can continue to develop and strengthen, this might be tornado warned in the next several minutes. And I'm going to go over to the Storm Prediction Center. We do have a mesoscale discussion on this cell to the north or to the south. Large hail and severe wind initially, gradually transitioning into an increasing tornado threat. And this kind of does bring it closer to the... It looks like it tries to bring it closer to the Oklahoma City Metro, but we'll just have to wait and see. There's a storm near Duncan. That storm near Duncan might go up north, but it's looking like it may be a little on the weaker side. We'll just have to wait and watch it, but right now that is for the storms in southern Oklahoma. That's the newest one. This older one came up for these cells. But these supercells are the same thing. Initial supercells capable of large hail and locally severe gusts. The tornado threat should gradually increase with northeastward extent. But we're still watching for any additional supercells that can fire in southwestern Oklahoma. We're watching for any additional cells just in case out here in that area. But right now, the biggest threat does appear to be these cells. Again, this cell right here near, now that's technically north of Lawton, has significantly weakened. And there is a new severe thunderstorm warning for this cell. I see it on radar Omega. It just popped up for, I believe, for quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. But this cell looks like it is trying to take a turn for the north towards Oklahoma City. But right now, it is a bit more of a left split supercell, so hopefully it does struggle to produce tornadoes, but as it gets closer to the Oklahoma City area, it'll still be in a great environment for tornadoes. So if we see absolutely any rotation, any spin in it, we'll keep a close eye on it. And there's there's 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, I think. No, just 2 more. This one's severe, and for this one is not severe yet, but it is strengthening and moving off to the northeast. And even if this cell is weaker near Lawton, that still could strengthen up and turn into a supercell. Right now, so far, it looks like the biggest threat for Oklahoma City might be this cell right here that is broken off and heading to the north. These cells right here, and we get a better circle of it. These 2 cells right here are trying to go more east, northeast. This one's heading more north. Right now, any cell that can continue to develop will be a pretty big threat. You can barely see it, but it does look like this is a tower going up, trying to break through the cap. Let's go up here in Nebraska here for a minute, because there is actually a pretty big supercell up here. Looks like it has a little hook on it, too. But it's already for quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. The largest hail will be back here between Cairo and Danbrog. And yeah, it does have some rotation in it. It does have rotation in it for sure, but luckily it's kind of weaker rotation, but these are going to be mostly a cluster of supercells. But this one's still kind of on its own a little bit, so that can still produce a tornado. Now, tornado chances up there are very low, but not necessarily 0. Here's that severe thunderstorm warning. This does appear to be going north. This tower to the west, that's dying. It's starting to suffer now. It's starting to go down. And this cell kind of looks like it's trying to go on a downtrend as well, but we can't necessarily say that this one really will go on a full downtrend yet. And again, these storms will remain mostly hailers and maybe if some wind gusts, but as they do continue off to the northeast, they will become increasingly tornadic towards the Oklahoma City metro area. But as we do wait for that, alright, keep an eye out for any additional towers as well. You can see that weird little tower down there near Abilene, Texas. Just going to go back up here to the north. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning right here for golf ball size hail. So yeah, that hail sizes did go down, but still needs to be watched fairly closely, very closely. That's for north. Let's go and read the mesoscale for these southern storms. Splitting supercells initially with a risk of very large hail and severe gusts. The tornado risk will gradually increase with time and northward extent. Discussion. Splitting cells are evolving ahead of the dry line along the Red River in southwest Oklahoma and extreme northwest Texas. These storms are in an environment characterized by 50 knot of 0 to 6 kilometer shear with a mostly straight hydrograph per FDR VWP data. Given weak large-scale forcing with excellence, this will continue to promote discrete/semi-discrete splitting cells with the risk of very large hail and locally severe gusts. With time, a strengthening low-level jet will support enlarging clockwise turning low-level hydrographs. Effective storm relative helicity upwards of 600 to 700 meters squared per second squared. This will favor a transition to dominant right-moving supercells with an increasing risk of tornadoes. With lower 60s degree dew points in place and the expectation for a discrete/semi-discrete mode, a strong tornado will be possible. So we'll say a strong tornado or two will be possible in any of these cells down in southern Oklahoma as well. But again, right now, I don't think these storms will get too terribly active, but I do think these two will be the main threat for tornadoes as they continue off to the northeast. This cell is a left split supercell, so hopefully it struggles, but if it manages to hold up on its own and does connect into that low-level jet later on this evening, they will most likely seriously start to become tornadic. Just checking a few things up real quick. Man, it's just an absolute mess down here, but it does appear that there's a new severe thunderstorm warning. I see like 4 down here. I'm going to take a screenshot of this real quick. There's like 1, 2, 3, like 4 or 5 different severe thunderstorm warnings on these. But this one right here is severe now, joining these other 2. And then there was that old tower that was trying to go up there. It started near Frederick and started rapidly weakening. It almost looks like this cell might be trying to split again. Right down right here. This is a stronger side of it, it looks like, though. Has more, some heavier rainfall in there. But if that could, this might actually just collapse on itself if it continues on its current direction. Right now the time is 7:16 p.m. Central Daylight Time, or Standard Time, whatever you go by. Golf ball size hail and 60 mile per hour winds. And the main threat today, again, I'll go and switch on over to the day 1 outlook here. We have this level 3 enhanced risk ranging from pretty much the Red River all the way up to northwest Missouri. in there from the Red River up through eastern Kansas. Again, that's the Red River, pretty much up I-35 into eastern Kansas. That is the 10% hatched risk for a couple of strong tornadoes. And if these supercells can really get going, maybe a long track tornado is possible, but not likely. It's some cell. Looks like maybe a couple more towers are trying to go up near Abilene as well. But there's also a new. There's that tower near Scotland now as well. It's all right. There we go. I do have a little alarm now for tornado warning. So if any tornado warnings are active, and I'm like currently like, let's say I'm right now focusing on these three supercells here in southern Oklahoma, and a tornado warning suddenly gets activated for one of these cells, I can hear it on my phone, and I'll be able to quickly transfer my attention up there for a little bit. And then we have golf ball size hail in this cell right now, near Newkirk, Kildare, and east of Blackwell. I'm gonna look for the mesocyclone here real quick. Definitely still got a mesocyclone on in there, but right now it's looking a bit more on the weaker side. But still there regardless. Still needs to be watched as that goes into northeast Kansas, or sorry, eastern Kansas. And again, if you are just pitching in and you live in eastern Kansas, right now the strong tornado threat will exist kind of mostly out here. Let's go down to the southwest, where we still have a few cells going on in southwest Oklahoma. And these are moving like apparent 50 miles an hour. We do have a cell going up near Putnam, Texas as well. Go ahead and transfer down there real quick. You can see that cluster severe thunderstorm warnings right there. Here near Abilene, there's that cell going up near Putnam. It looks like it's broken through the cap and it's starting to strengthen. I'll be keeping a close eye on this too. It should mostly be a bit of a hail threat this far south, but we still can't rule out a possible tornado or two out of that cell if it can really get going in the next few hours. Moving back north, we have what appears to me a dying cell here near Bray, Marlow, and Central High, Oklahoma. That hopefully does die as it continues off to the northeast. We still need to watch it in case it can hold up, take in that unstable environment it's in, and seriously strengthen. But we have two cells to the southwest that are still going, trying to develop into tornadic thunderstorms. It almost looks to me that this storm is trying to spin a little bit near Marlow and Central High. Just a little bit. Going back up to the north here real quick. We have these two cells still going. Now these cells might be weakening a little bit too, but still producing quarters to ping pong balls to even maybe golf balls in there still. Still got some rotation in there. Still has a fairly strong mesocyclone. Shouldn't be any, there's no new mesoscale discussions. There's a watch possible for an increasing severe threat in North Kansas and far south Nebraska. A watch is possible. I think this will be maybe another tornado watch here. But right now, some risk for a tornado. So it might be either a tornado watch or a severe thunderstorm watch. I'm thinking it might be a severe thunderstorm watch though. But let's go and go into pivotal weather and see if there's any updates on the HRRR model. Yeah, let's go down into the more concerned area in central U.S. is what this pulls up, but it's mostly Oklahoma and Kansas I'm talking about. And let's see if, yeah, it does pull up cells here in the North Metro, and it is pulling up some of these cells there in southwest Oklahoma and along the Red River. And as this continues off to the northeast, we'll have some storms firing off there in eastern Oklahoma. So it does show some of those cells, but they don't. It shows that they don't last very long. Now let's fly back south here real quick. This cell looks like it's dying as it continues off to the northeast, but we still have these two cells further to the south that look like they're still trying to crank into some maybe tornado producers later on. Trained weather spotters confirmed quarter-size hail. How many miles was that? Just a mile east of Walters. So this one, east of Walters, is producing a at least some hail. It's marginally severe hail, but it's still hail, so it still needs to be watched. And it looks like it might go through a bit of a merger here. These storms are going to merge into one. But so when they do, we need to watch out for the southern southwestern portion of the storm. And the storm right here, toward near Rush Springs, this storm is dying. That storm's gonna die. Or, well, it's just a bit stronger. We'll just have to wait and see what happens to that cell, but it definitely looks like it's starting to weaken down just a tad bit. Alright, this storm right now over Rush Springs and Marlow, Oklahoma. This storm is no longer severe, but again, it's in an environment where it can try to get itself back together as that continues off to the north. It still has time before it reaches the Oklahoma City Metro. So if this can, it can re-strengthen as it continues off to the northeast. But my primary concern right now are these two cells, as they are still strong and still producing some fairly large hail. But these supercells are still early in their life cycle, so just go down to Abilene, where I'm seeing what look to be more towers. And yeah, this is definitely a supercell now going over Putnam, where it does appear that there might be some large, so at least some marginally severe hail. Right now, this cell that is no longer severe is currently around 50 miles from the radar site that I'm currently using there. I believe that's the Tinker Air Force Base site. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's gonna be the Tinker Air Force Base site, I believe. No, not Tinker Air Force. I don't remember this site, but right now this is east of Moore. Yeah, right now this supercell is around 50 miles southwest of Moore and around 45 miles southwest of Norman. But right now it is a weakening cell. It's not as strong as it was earlier. That's the good thing. Right now we still have what appears to me a tower trying to go up there on the Kansas-Oklahoma border. A few weak cells there from Burden all the way down just east of Caldwell, Kansas. And obviously, this one big cell that's still severe here on the Oklahoma-Kansas state borders. Looking for any rotation. There still is some rotation in here, but it's significantly weaker than it was before. I do think eventually, when the low-level jet really starts to kick in, I do think the highest tornado threat will be down here from central Oklahoma down into the Red River Valley, where we do have these supercells, as the low-level jet will be stronger down here. Now, we could still see a strong tornado or two up here in northeast Oklahoma and eastern Kansas, where these supercells are still ongoing. But right now, I do think the two areas where I think the highest tornado threat will be is, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, will be down here from the Red River Valley up to the Oklahoma City area, and over here, Wichita, southwest of Kansas City, and in eastern Kansas and far northeast Oklahoma. Unless I could see more development somewhere back here along the dry line, any development back there, these groups of supercells will be the highest chance to get a couple of tornadoes. And we're still looking at tornado watch. Obviously, this is going to be active until 12 a.m. Central Daylight Time, or Central Standard Time, whatever you want to go by. Let's go to a distant radar site here. Looking for any towers that might try to go up. I'm not seeing any, but we still have this tower further to the it's east of the Abilene area, going towards the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We have this supercell going up, and it looks like a few more towers trying to break through. We have 1, 2, 3. They're trying, but so far, oh yeah, you can see them here too. We have 1 supercell and 3 more towers trying to go up down the line. Now, these cells are merging right now, so I do expect that health core to develop a bit more there. Watching for any mesoscale development down here on the south side. If we do see a mesoscale, a mesocyclone, we'll be watching it very closely. We're watching for any gate-to-gate or any other sign of rotation down here. Pretty close to Temple, actually, but we'll have to keep a very close eye on that. But this cell here going towards the southern Oklahoma City area, looking very weak. It's looking like it's on a serious downtrend right now, which is good. So going to have to keep a very close eye on it, though. Ouch. Let's go and look at a few more models here real quick as well. Oh, yep, there it is. Severe thunderstorm warning for northeast Kansas and southeast Nebraska. You can see where that tornado watch is down there in far southern Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. I think there might be an expansion of that in here in eastern Kansas. But right now, we still have severe thunderstorm warnings out here, just outside the watch area that'll stretch inwards. But right now, the main threat will be large hail and damaging winds. But any tornado threat is low out in the northeast Kansas and southeast Nebraska, but certainly not zero. But I do want to go ahead and check out the NAM 3 kilometer here real quick, just to see what it does for the Oklahoma City. Right, let's go and see what the NAM 3 kilometer shows. This is being a little aggressive with it, showing quite a few storms popping up in southwest Oklahoma, but it does appear that they'll weaken pretty rapidly before they get to the Oklahoma City metro. Because again, we have a strong cap in place, but any storm that can anyways, yeah, the NAM 3 kilometer is being a bit more aggressive with it. But we still need to watch for any additional cells to develop. Here's the normal. Here's the NAM. This is the normal NAM. It does pull up a cell there in central Oklahoma near the Oklahoma City metro area. You can see that severe thunderstorm watch there. It does clip into the marginal risk. Is severe thunderstorm watch into the marginal risk? You don't usually see that all the time, but can certainly happen with if you can get some big hail and pretty big damaging winds out of it. We're still undergoing a merger here from Duncan down to Temple, and these two supercells, they're currently merging. Alright, right now, this cell, let's go and move up to the northeast a little bit. This cell is still shown to be, weakening, but still should keep an eye on it regardless. Let's go up here to the north real quick. We still have, this cell or two cells still going up there. Maybe a small tower trying to go up near Caldwell. It's struggling. Few cells here from around just south of Douglas, Kansas, down to near Arkansas City. But it does appear that there's a developing hook here near Newkirk, Oklahoma. Let's go to velocity ratings. There's a that's probably that shouldn't be rotation. If we see any rotation, it'll be on this side back here. SRV. That's more like it. We should be seeing rotation pop up here. Nothing on the ground particularly, but let's go and transfer over here. Yeah, this storm's starting to produce only quarter-size hail now, though. But it does have a somewhat decent hook on it. And it does have rotation. It does have spin in it. It does have rotation back here. I'm going to have to keep a very close eye on that if it gets tornado warned. And I'm focusing on these other storms down here in southern Oklahoma. Those cells, I'll know if those cells are tornado warned, as I do have a alert system set up on Radar Omega, so I can see that. So far, this cell right here going into Lindsay and Alex, Oklahoma, I do think those will very quickly begin to weaken. And it's been weakening the last several minutes, but I do think it'll really fizzle out as it goes into McLean and Cleveland County. To the south, we're still undergoing a merger with these supercells. They're trying to merge pretty much into one. I do think we'll see a bigger hail core develop here towards the middle, and eventually, as these storms continue out to the northeast into a more primed environment for tornadoes, we'll see a mesocyclone develop. They're still keeping a very close eye on all these cells still ongoing. Contamination. Let's go up to this radar site. Wow, you can actually see that cell all the way down here. Dang. Let's go ahead and go down to this cell actually real quick. And it might be going through a bit of a split right now. Yeah, it's going through a split. Actually, this might be producing some pretty big hail, possibly. We still have these, at least two towers now. One of the three are quickly fizzling out. I think this is the dry line, possibly there. Alright, right now we still have this pretty weak cell now going into Bradley, Alex, and Lindsay, Oklahoma. That is going to very quickly weaken and fizzle out. Still only have $half size hail in these cells. Still keeping a very close eye on them. We have this cell that is still a big concern here going into Newkirk. It has a hook on it. This is in far northern Oklahoma. This is going to go into Kansas, where it'll probably be tornado warned. But we do have some area mesocyclone out here. Let's see what's here. Okay, yeah. Right now, this cell could be tornado warned here in a little while. Out here, Newkirk, it has a pretty good inflow notch on it. It's a pretty decent inflow notch and hook. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and SRV. We still have mesocyclone out here near Newkirk. If that will be tornado warned, that will spread out into Kansas. Probably something like this. Maybe shifted a bit more to the north. Right now, but this storm does appear to me like it is definitely still appearing a little long to me, almost like as if it's like a little more linear partially. It's not 100% linear, but does kind of stretch out just a little like that. All right, we still have what looks like the dry line back here. It looks like I don't think it will have any more storms breaking through the cap for at least a while. These two supercells, and if this one can get attacked back together. Sorry, I'm trying to see if I can see anything at my house. Outside my window real quick. Alright, anyways. Still keeping an eye on these cells in southwest Oklahoma. These are traveling northeast. I believe it's around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Yeah, 40 miles per hour. Alright, right now, but yeah, the cell BO is what this one's called. But as that continues off to the northeast, it should weaken. That's the biggest trend of it right now. It's just been weakening as it continued off to the northeast. Let's go up here back to Nebraska. Here's Grand Island. Looks like a little hook here, maybe a little hook here. Let's go into velocity here real quick. Oh yeah, what in the world is... Definitely a mesocyclone right there in north of Grand Island, Nebraska. That's a little questionable to me right now, but it's about 2 to 3 miles north of Grand Island, Nebraska. If this is a mesocyclone, it is slowly strengthening. Let's go back down here to northern Oklahoma where we still have this cell. Let's bring the reflectivity. Alright. Still has a little bit of a hook here, but I think this severe thunderstorm warning will be allowed to let off, and as this continues in the southeast Kansas, southeast Kansas, it'll start to. I think it'll weaken for just a little bit, but it should start to strengthen back up. But I think these storms will be at their peak, along with tornado activity, from around closer to 8 to 8:30 and 9 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time. But right now we're still watching these two cells merge. We're gonna go back to velocity, and again, if any sort of rotations to pop up, it'll likely be out here on the southwest portion of the storm. Let's see a little hook jutting out a bit, maybe. Anyways, okay, there was a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for the storm to the north. There alerts. Yeah. Let's go back up to the north here real quick. Where we do have, still have this severe thunderstorm ongoing. It's for quarter-size hail, or half-dollar size hail now, and 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But remember, hail is, right now, hail is the biggest concern in this cell. It was producing much larger hail further south and southwest, out near Hunter, Oklahoma, Enid, and Hunter, Oklahoma. But right now, that is slowly going down. Alright, anyways, Newkirk, you're pretty much out of it now. The mesocyclone is to your east. But if you live in if you live east of Newkirk, your mesocyclone is gonna be about back here. But let's go ahead and head back down here to the Oklahoma City Metro. We still have this dying cell here east of Bradley, Oklahoma. That is very rapidly beginning to diminish. Right now, the strongest cells are still further to the south. It looks like they're still merging here. But it looks like the farthest north they'll go might just barely clip per cell. Oh my goodness, I cannot type. Okay, let's go see if there's anything new with the the Storm Prediction Center. Nope. No, I really don't think that tornado threats can be that high today. But still a concern nonetheless if these cells can really start cranking. Still not seeing much rotation at all in here. Still, might have something a little odd going on here. Might be trying to split off or something. I don't know. It looks a little weird. Let's go further to the south, or to the south, where we still have this cell taking off in Texas, east of Albany, Abilene. Oh my gosh. So far, it's looking like it's going to be producing some small hail, maybe some gusts of wind 40 to 50 miles per hour. And to the south, we have another cell trying to develop maybe a new tower as well, trying to do something. And right now, we're still keeping an eye on these two cells here. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay. I'm going to look at Echo Tops here for a moment. Oops. Alright, now we're looking at 40,000 feet-ish right now. 40, around 45,000 feet up. It's not the highest these storms can go, obviously. I've seen storms go 60, 70, even 80,000 feet up at times. Yeah, right now, there's two separate hail cores. There's one back here west of Meridian, and one right here northeast of Duncan. They're both producing around quarter-size hail, maybe occasionally larger hail. And a trained weather spotter has confirmed golf ball size hail up near Blackwell, Oklahoma. Let's see here. Let's see what the storm is doing. Alright, these cells do appear to be weakening here. These cells are starting to weaken down a little bit. Now, hopefully, the cap can bring them down, but right now, if these storms are going on a bit of a downwards trend, then Oklahoma City should be out of it for at least the evening until another wave of severe storms can fire off the cold front. Maybe have a line of thunderstorms developing, mostly producing wind and some large hail. But the tornado threat won't completely diminish in the morning. Might even see a few school closures tomorrow morning, mostly out here in the northeast portion of the state. Yeah, here we're seeing this might be able to fizzle out. Hail threat has been observed at 1.25 inches. That's about half dollar size hail. That's trained weather spotters for quarter size though. So, but still keeping a very close eye on this storm as it continues off to the north. Right now it's in Stevens County. Let's go up to the north to this cell. Where we east of Newkirk. There still is a mesocyclone with this one. Does appear to be weaker though, which is good. So keeping a very close eye on that still. And out east of Abilene, that storm looks like it's still trying to strengthen a little bit. Okay, let's see here. Anything new from the Storm Prediction Center? Oh, well, yeah, there's something here. Isolated large hail and local severe gusts possible with initial storms. Yeah, this is east of the Abilene area. Here's that dry line going pretty much right over Abilene. The main threats will be wind and hail, but a tornado or two cannot be ruled out. So I do think there will be a severe thunderstorm warning here for around central Texas. And this likely will include the Fort Worth area. Maybe not Dallas, and might go as far east as Dallas, maybe. But we'll probably see another one out here in the slight and marginal risk areas. Yeah, there's hail reports down there in southern Oklahoma, around the Red River Valley, and northern Oklahoma and the Kansas state borders. Looks like these storms are still... Well, looks like a new hail core trying to develop there west of Meridian, Oklahoma. But this original hail core up here to the northeast of Duncan is starting to weaken out now. Here's Medill, Oklahoma. I remember that EF2 a few years back. And then there's Marietta with the EF4 last year. And I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab something. I'm back, and there's a new severe thunderstorm warning for this cell that's kind of split itself apart again, going to the northeast. Ouch. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be severe for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. And the severe thunderstorm warning stretches out a little like this. Right now, these storms are on a bit of a weaker trend, though. Just a little bit right now. Let's go back to the north, to these cells. It's still a little stretched out right now, though. It's not really, it doesn't look very favorable for a tornado. See, this severe thunderstorm warning has been issued, and it has. Here's the remains of that one cell that took off a while back. That has now since weakened significantly. So these two cells back here, but they have starting to weaken down a little bit. They're moving 40 to 45, maybe at times up to 50 miles per hour. And we can start seeing the cells down there, and that's slight risk too. We haven't had a tornado warning yet today. We might have maybe one or two later, but I don't think we'll have too terribly high of a chance of seeing a tornado. There we go. Let's go and look at echo tops again here real quick. It seems to be taller in the storm further to the west, but regardless, both of them still need to be watched. Might even end the stream a little early, because these storms are just not. Man. Let's see here. Yeah, these storms are definitely looking a little weaker than they were earlier. Let's see here. Yeah, these storms keep creeping to central Oklahoma, where I think the cap might be at its strongest. Uh, we'll probably start to see these storms seriously die. And here's, yeah, this cell looks like it's starting to not do much anymore. It looked pretty promising a while ago, and it just kind of fell off a little bit. It fell off quite a bit. Same with, yeah, these cells are definitely starting to weaken as they continue eastward. Yeah, I'm going to go and cut the stream here because it does appear that pretty much every cell is just starting to go down. It's 8 o'clock. I still have school tomorrow, so if anything does still get a little feisty here and there, I'll probably go live again in about